What's going on, guys? Talking knives again. Today we're looking at a fixed blade. A fixed blade from Gerber. Very interesting. I haven't talked about a Gerber knife in a long time. To this date, my favorite Gerber knife of all time has to be the Applegate Fairbane folder. I just love it. That's my favorite Gerber ever. Gerber is, it's old school, man. It's like Buck, Gerber, Kershaw, CRKT. This is what I grew up with. These are my first knives because they were all affordable brands. You know what I mean? It's also a box store brand. You know, it's something you can go into Walmart and you could find Gerber knives. You can, growing up in Jersey, even before Walmart, because when I was young, I don't remember a lot of Walmarts when I was young, to be honest. It wasn't like what it is now. They weren't everywhere. But I remember going to like Ramsey Outdoor in Jersey and, you know, looking at the knives. I remember going to, there was a shop, I think it was off of 17, Route 17. I know it's not there anymore. I want to say it was called AIM. I forget, it was a gun shop, but it was also outdoorsy stuff. It was kind of like a Dick's Sporting Goods or like a cheap Cabela's, you know, something like that. And they had the real guns there, which again, being a young teenager, had no interest at all. But I did love the pellet guns. I had no interest in the real guns because I thought I would never have one. That, you know, being like 13, 14 years old, the idea that I can actually own a gun someday wasn't even in my mind. So I was just thinking, wow, I want pellet guns because I can have that now. You know, and of course they had a bunch of knives there. And that's where, like, I was buying Gerbers, like I said, CRKT, Bucks, you know, stuff like that. So Gerber will always have a place in my heart. It's just when people bring up Gerbers or I hear Gerber, in my mind, I just kind of deflate a little bit and just go, eh. You know, it's not exciting to me. But hey, you know what? They do have a lot of cool designs, and I have to say, they've been keeping up lately, for sure. And this is one great example. This is the StrongArm, and this is a very impressive knife at a very impressive price. These go between 60 and 70 bucks, and they're worth every penny. I have to say, I really like this knife. Completely unrelated to the knife, but every time I say StrongArm, I automatically want to say this is, I think, a strong hand. Okay, for any movie people out there, if you've seen Scary Movie 2, there's a scene with the friggin' butler. He's got the jacked up hand, and I forget the comedian's name, but he's like hanging out the window, and he goes to, he's like, here, grab a strong hand. I say it to my wife all the time just like that. I'm like, grab a strong hand, baby. And he doesn't even say that in the movie. She made me rewatch the scene, and he says, like, grab my little hand because my other hand's not strong enough, or something like that. It's just funny. It's a funny movie. So anyway, saying StrongArm, that happens to pop in my head every single time. Completely unrelated to the knife. Just wanted to mention it. So yeah, grab a strong hand. So yeah, this knife's been talked about a lot on YouTube. I'm just kind of throwing my 2 cents into the ring here. I have a lot of use in this knife, but not as much as some people. There's other videos. I think this went through the knife gauntlet. If you guys watch Prepared Mind 101, him and a bunch of different guys, a few knives they'll kind of pass around, and I mean, they really go through the ringer. All right, so if you want to see some hardcore use or whatever, definitely check out his channel and all the people that are involved in the gauntlet, which is very cool. But yeah, I mean, for my use, I've been very impressed. Now, this has a 420 HC blade, which is not impressive at all. Well, I don't know, I shouldn't really say that. 420 HC, maybe not impressive compared to other steels, fine, but that's not really, it's not fair to judge it against something that's more expensive, right? For what it is, it's fine. You do have to know how to sharpen your knife. If you're gonna get a knife that's 420, okay, and you're going to use it, you're going to need to know how to sharpen it. If you could do that, it's totally fine. All right, this knife has been sharpened twice. I got a nice edge on there, you can see. All right, a little polished edge. And it's still chugging along, you know what I mean? It's still kicking. It's just, you know, it doesn't want to hold that edge very long. You know, it's just inherently cheaper, softer steel. But it has its purpose, and I've had no chips or any kind of rolls. It actually didn't roll on me at all. A lot of times with the softer steel, if you do hit like a knot in wood or, you know, a harder material, it tends to want to just literally bend over. You know, think about it. If you have something that's soft, well, not that any metal is really soft, but there's softer metals than others, and you hit something that's harder than it, you know, it's just going to bend. And that's what a roll is in a blade. Is when your edge it's a thin piece of metal, and it bends over. I have not experienced that with this knife, which is surprising because most times, you know, the softer steels, AUS 6, AUS 8, you know, even some 440C, when you're hitting, you know, doing a lot of woodwork, and that's basically all my testing with this. I did a little bit of cardboard, but most of the testing was just making feather sticks and hacking at stuff. Did a little bit of batoning. Nothing too hardcore, but never had any kind of rolling, which I was kind of expecting, to be honest. So with the advantage, I would say, of a softer steel is that it really won't chip out like a harder steel. Harder steels obviously will hold an edge longer because they're harder, and they'll stay sharper longer, which is what you want. But sometimes if you hit something that's very, very hard, it tends to be brittle. So instead of rolling or bending, it'll just chip or break. I mean, when I say break, I don't mean the knife's gonna break in half. I mean like the little edge will break off, which makes it difficult to resharpen. With a rolled edge, you can straighten that out, and you can resharpen it. If you have a chip in the blade, that's a pain in the ass. Then you're talking about reprofiling your whole edge, and depending on how big the chip is, I mean, it just could ruin the knife. So yeah, I mean, pros and cons to everything. Not a huge deal though. If you're going to use this a lot, just know how to sharpen your knife, and then it's really not a problem. As far as the weight on here, 7.2 ounces. It actually feels light. It really does. For an almost 5-inch blade, this feels like a light little knife. I really like the handle on this, the grip. First off, the design is very cool. You see we have a double guard here, or a full guard, so it flares out on both sides. Okay, so whether you're holding like this or you're holding like this, for draw cuts or whatever. It's just comfortable, and it gives you protection, especially if you're going to be stabbing. When I did some tip testing, where you slam it into wood and just kind of pry your way out of there. It gives you a lot of area so that you're not going to slide down onto that blade. Okay, I do like a guard on a knife, and a double guard is totally fine for me. Some people don't like it because when you choke up or whatever, it's going to be more uncomfortable. Something to consider. It's not a huge deal. If you choke up like this, it's fine, but if you want to just choke up a little bit, obviously you can't rest your thumb anywhere comfortably like this. All right, so consideration, really not a big deal, but I guess worth mentioning. But the material on here is a rubber. It's rubber coated, and it is really grippy. I really like it. Okay, aesthetically it's pleasing. I think it's a good looking knife. It's cool. It's kind of tactical. This coyote brown version anyway, with the sheath here. And the sheath, that's a whole separate thing. I really like the sheath. It's very modular. It's MOLLE compatible, which is very nice if you have MOLLE gear, or some kind of loadout system, or military related, or if you just one of those tactical guys that just want to throw a cool knife onto your carrier or something. You can certainly use this. It's just a cool little system. Again, I'm not going to go over the whole thing because there's so many people talking about it. I'm sure you already know about it anyway. But yeah, it's a great little sheath system. But the reason I mention this is because you can see this is the coyote brown version. There is an all black version, okay, completely black. So if you want to be extra tactical, you gotta get the black one. All right, so let's take a look at our blade up close here. You can see the ceramic coating on here is held up okay. Something you guys have to realize too, if you get knives or like knives that are black, or have a coating on it, they all wear. Okay, because sometimes people send messages, oh, what's the best coating? Or I got a message a couple weeks ago from someone that says, oh, I want to get this Kershaw, but it says it's tie-dye coated. Is that good? I want to make sure it's not going to rub off. All coatings will rub off. Some last longer than others, but they all rub off. If you're going to use your knives, you have to accept the fact that it's going to look dirty. It's going to look used. You know what I'm saying? If you don't like that look, do not get blade. Okay, go with the stonewash finish or something that's going to really hide scratches and imperfections. I don't mind wear if it's honest wear. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you're half scrubbing it off to make it look used, it'll look like crap. But if you actually just use your knives and they wear down, that's fine. It's just like, to me, wearing a gun, it just it looks good. It does over time, to me anyway. As long as it's actual, usage, and it's not like pre-distressed, if that makes any sense. I don't think they ever have any. I mean, some knives are sold kind of pre-distressed. That black stonewash finish is I guess that. That's essentially what it is. It makes it look like it's used already, even though it's brand new. But anyway, my point is, it doesn't really matter what the coating is. It's all going to rub off eventually if you're using your knives. If you want it to look nice and pretty, don't use knives. All right, buy two of them. One you can use and one you can save and look at a nice clean coating. So anyway, yeah, I'm really happy with it. It does have a nice big lanyard hole on here, as well as a striking pommel. So this comes to a point, and that's for the defensive part of things. Again, if you're considering this as a military style knife. And I have to say, as far as like a combat knife, I kind of like this for a defensive role. Not just because of the, I mean, it's kind of gimmicky, but it's purposeful too. I mean, obviously, if you slam this into someone's forehead, it's going to do more damage than if it was flat. You know what I mean? But come on, how many times have you slammed a knife butt handle into someone's forehead? How many times have you slammed anything into someone's forehead? You know what I'm saying? A little bit rare. Definitely not a common occurrence. But yeah, that's a little bit of an advantage. But what I like about it is the fact that it is so light. All right, very lightweight and still capable. Again, almost a 5-inch blade there. Has a nice point on here. And of course, the sheath system is very compatible with any kind of setup you have. So in that respect, it'd be good for a military style, usage. As you can see here, huge on the blade, so you don't miss it. Made in the USA in Portland, Oregon. I like that quite a bit. Obviously, the more affordable knives, most of them are made overseas, which if quality control is fine, I'm good with that. I don't have a huge preference for it. I do prefer USA made knives because I live in the US, and guess what? It helps my economy. And I like that. It gives people jobs, and it gives me a warm, fuzzy feeling inside when I have something that's made in the USA. But if it's not made in the USA and it's still good quality, I don't really care all that much. You know what I'm saying? I do have a preference, but it's not that strong. But I am happy to see it's like a little bonus. Like, ooh, all right, cool, made in the USA as well, and still affordable. How do they do it? I don't know. Yeah, so there you go, guys. Just throw my 2 cents into the ring there. Plenty of people already talking about this thing. It's pretty well known among the knife community already. So I'm just bringing my perspective to the table and kind of just nodding my head and agreeing with everyone else. Yeah, it's an awesome knife for the money. Not the best performing knife, but it's certainly a good bang for your buck. I'll put it that way. And I'm very surprised and excited that Gerber is producing some cool knives again. You know what I'm saying? Way back in the day, they had some good ones. They had a lot of flops, in my opinion. One that comes to mind is the, what was it? The Paraframe, I think it was, the skeletonized little folder. Man, I had like 3 of those, and one of them closed on me all the time. The lock sucked, and the other 2, I think one the tip snapped, and I don't abuse my knives, okay? So yeah. Anyway, it's nice. It's nice to see Gerber getting back into the ring here and putting out some good stuff. This is a good knife made by Gerber. So that's awesome. Thumbs up, Gerber. And I like how you're keeping this in the U.S. So very cool. All right, guys. Before I conclude this review, I will show you one more thing that just bugs the hell out of me. Oh man, so many companies do this, but this one happens to be a little bit worse than the previous knife I just did a review on. Right here. Here's our edge. Here's where the cutting stops. Why? Why does it stop here? Our grind goes all the way down to here. Come on, man. That's like a 1/4 inch of unusable edge. It's just silly. How does this get out of the factory? Whose job is it? Like a floor manager or like a inspector? I don't know. I'm trying to envision some dude, okay, who doesn't like his job. Maybe not. Maybe he just missed it. Maybe this is just one. You guys let me know if you have a StrongArm. Is yours like this? Because I can't envision a guy going to work, clocking in, drinking his coffee, walking over, looking at this edge and saying, yep, pack it up, ship it out. I don't get it. It's not done. They're not done. Sharpen it, please. Sharpen the rest of my knife. I demand it. Yeah, I don't know. It bugs me. It's my pet peeve. Some of you guys don't really give a crap about that, but I think most knife people would agree. Like, if you're really a knife person, you must agree that's just unacceptable. Anyway, that's just something that bugs me, as you guys know. It can't be a person. It can't be a person like going, sharpen this and saying, yep, it's done. No, it's got to be like going in a machine, or machines that are not calibrated properly to cut that all the way down to the edge. You know what I mean? Or sharpen it. That's the only way I can sleep at night, is to know that it wasn't a person that went, yeah, that's great, throw it in the box, ship it out, sell it to someone. So anyway, there's my review on my StrongArm. Grab my StrongArm, and hopefully you guys liked it. I was a little goofy in this one, just because I'm in a good mood today. That's always a nice thing. But hopefully you got something out of the review, and if you want more, there is plenty more on YouTube. Check out the Gauntlet, check out Prepared Mind 101. Chris does an awesome job with a lot of fixed blade stuff, very much into bushcrafting and fixed blades. Although I love fixed blades and I love anything with a sharp edge, I do tend to use folders way more. Just, everyday tasks. I just prefer folders over fixed blades in general. But there's a lot of great guys out there. Not just Chris. I mean, just, do some searching. There's a lot of awesome knife channels you guys are missing out on. So look this knife up. It's pretty popular. Lots of good videos on it. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Take care.